We've all heard the phrase, get lost in a good book, and now more than ever, we all could use a good book to get lost in. So today I'm here to recommend a couple of good books for you to get lost in. Let's get started. Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. How are you doing today? I hope you guys are doing really well. It's weird to say that considering so many of us are locked down in our houses, very few places to go, and makes us all really realize how lucky we are in the day to day, right? I realize how much I miss being able to get out. I miss my friends. I miss being able to see people. But I also realize how lucky I am, all of the great stuff I have in my life, and it's really put a lot of stuff in perspective. And it's also just told me, or reminded me, how important reading is to me as just a way to get through the world sometimes. So today I'm here to recommend some books that are just good books to get lost in. Fun stories, adventure stories, things with a lot of action, stuff that will make you laugh, stuff that will make you not cry, but feel. How's that? Feel. How's that? Just stuff to get into, just sort of to enjoy something and just sort of take your mind off, because sometimes the world can be a little bit overwhelming. So I just put these books in alphabetical order by author. I have 6 of them, I do believe. So as always, get out your pen, get out your paper, get out your Goodreads, however you keep track of your TBR. If you are so able, please support your local independent bookstores. Now, more than ever, they need us. They need us so much right now. If you are able, please order these from them. And if you are a library user, I'm thinking probably download, is it Overdrive or Libby? I don't use either of them, but you can borrow electronic books from your library if you are an electronic book reader, and still get titles. I would hope that that would still be available. I don't know if it is, but I think it should be, right? It should be. So if you are, however you get your books, please put these books on there, support these authors. So let's get started. The first book I'm going to tell you about is Hollow Kingdom by Kira Jane Buxton. Now this is for those of you that want something a little bit, I'm going to say off color. It's kind of like a Simpsons sense of humor. This is the story of S.T. He is a raven who narrates this entire novel, and it is a zombie apocalyptic novel told from the point of perspective of the animals that are left behind after all of the humans turn into zombies. ST is owned by a man that he is very attached to, and he goes on an adventure and a quest, let's say, in order to find a way to cure his human. And he has friends along the way. He has a dog that he lives with that he is very attached to that has some comic nature to it. This book will make you laugh. It will make you it's a fun book. It's one of those books you can just kind of go along with, enjoy the adventure, and by the end of it, you feel good about having read just a really good, fun book. So that is Hollow Kingdom by Kira Jane Buxton, and this is from Grand Central Publishing, and you guys can get it now, and the cover is beautiful. And I always point out, because I love the octopus on the back, plays an important role. Just saying, octopi are important. One of my favorite animals in the world. Okay, the next is, I'm going all over the place here today, guys. There is no rhyme or reason other than these are great books that you can get lost in. This is the Jane Austen Book Club by Karen Joy Fowler. I read this book years ago and I adored it. So what is the premise? This is a book club that focuses on the novels of Jane Austen. Each chapter, I think there are 6 chapters, I think. Each chapter is a different person that's in the book club and also focuses on a different Jane Austen novel. So as you're reading that person's chapter, you're not only reading about them and getting to know them and their life, you're also sort of having a discussion or a dissection of a different Jane Austen novel. And I told you guys just a couple of videos ago, I'm so excited Jane Austen is currently in a renaissance, but this book came out some time ago and it just was Such a fun read. It's one of those books that you can just sort of sit down there, remember why you love Jane Austen, and it's just so clever. Karen Joy Fowler is one of my favorite writers, and I do absolutely love this book. So if you want something that's just a little bit literary, makes you fall in love again with Jane Austen, but also is the story of this group of people who come together in a love of literature while dealing with their regular lives. That's the Jane Austen Book Club by Karen Joy Fowler. Okay. Next is a collection of short stories, and I guess I would say that these are sort of like sci-fi fantasy short stories, and that is Get in Trouble Stories by Kelly Link. I love Kelly Link. She is also the owner of Small Beer Press, which puts out all sorts of really cool books, and I'm in the middle of the series, the Fire Logic, Earth Logic, Air Logic, Water Logic. I don't know the last two books in what order they go in. Fantasy series that they've been reissuing that I absolutely love. I met Kelly Link years ago at a Booktopia event for this book and met her. I think this one's signed. Let me just, oh yeah, see? Look, it's signed. Yeah. And she was great. And I think she's a MacArthur Fellow now too. So there you go. But as I've always said, short story collections are hard to summarize. So I am going to let the book do that for you. Link has won an ardent following for her ability with each new short story to take readers deeply into an unforgettable, brilliantly constructed fictional universe. The 9 exquisite examples in this collection show her in full command of her formidable powers. In The Summer People, a young girl in rural North Carolina serves an uneasy caretaker to a mysterious, never quite glimpsed visitor who inhabits the cottage behind her house. In I Can See Right Through You, a middle-aged movie star makes a disturbing trip to Florida swamp where his former on-off-screen love interest is shooting a ghost-hunting reality show. And in The New Boyfriend, a suburban slumber party takes an unusual turn and a teenage friendship is tested when the spoiled birthday girl opens her big present, a life-sized animated doll. The New Boyfriend is actually my favorite story in this collection. It's literally about like this life-sized Barbie doll that you are gifted, and it turns into sort of a boyfriend or a girlfriend for you. And the jealousy that occurs between one girl who does not have one and what she does with the animated doll of her friend. I think that's enough, right? So that's Get in Trouble, stories by Kelly Link. You guys will not. There's like superhero-ish stories. It's just like really all over the place, but in such a good, connected way that you will really love it. And then you'll probably become a Kelly Link fan and you'll read everything. I hear she's in the process of writing a novel, which I cannot wait for. Okay, next we're going to go a little YA fantasy, and that is Akata Witch by Nnedi Okorafor. This is out from Speak. This is the first actually in a series. And so this is sort of like a Nigerian Harry Potter type thing where we have a young girl who is brought in and she is trained to be a witch and to protect her community, her little township, and she's there. She has friends that she trains with, and there's, a bad guy, and there's all of that good stuff. You know how you read a book and you just get sucked into the world that the author has built and you just fly through it. You fall in love with the main character. She is a spunky, smart, adventuresome. She's everything you would want to be if you were in a school that was teaching you how to be a witch. And the world is easy to understand, so you can just sort of flow into it. So if you have a young adult reader in your life that likes sort of Harry Potter or those things that are a little bit more fantasy driven, I highly recommend Akata Witch. If you are one of those readers yourself, this book will be for you. And this is by Nnedi Okorafor, Akata Witch. And the second one is Akata Warrior. It is out as well. I have it on my shelf. I haven't read book 2 yet, but I loved book 1. Okay, next is a book. I really am all over. This is quite a stack, you guys. Let's talk about The Editor by Stephen Rowley. I have talked about this book a number of times. I just absolutely loved this tale. This is the story of a young man who has finally gotten his big break. His book is picked up by a major publishing company to be published, and it turns out his editor is one Jackie Kennedy Onassis. And he has a relationship with her as she challenges him to deep dive into sort of the story he wants to tell, which really is a relationship between him and his mother, and a discussion and sort of a way for him to sort of dive into that part of his life. And it challenges him. We also get really fun sort of instances of Jackie O's life and her sort of interactions with him. You know, she was an editor at the end of her life. She published a number of books, mostly nonfiction, I believe. And I just loved the world. I just loved the characters. I loved the story. I loved the setting. Stephen Rowley just does a really good job of telling you a fantastic story, and this is you know, no different. So that is The Editor by Stephen Rowley, and yeah, and I met him actually at Great Good Place for Books in Oakland. It was lovely, and he was lovely, and when we took the picture together, people thought we could have been related. There you go. Last but not least, I'm going way back. Let me see if I can remember when this was actually published for the first time. So it does not stay. Originally published in 1936. This is Miss Buncle's book by D.E. Stevenson. And D.E. Stevenson has written a number of books like this, and I have them all on my shelf. Up there, I think, somewhere. And Miss Buncle's book is just if you like gossipy, fun books. So what this is we're set in this little township, and this book has come out. And this book, when the people in the town read it, start to recognize themselves. And it turns out that Miss Buncle is a single woman, and she has published this book, and it is about the people in her community and everything she knows about them. But because she's a woman, she's a single woman by herself, no one assumes that she's the writer. And everyone wants to know who the writer is, because everybody in the town wants to, you know, be angry at someone for airing their dirty laundry. But it's really about her sort of navigating all of this. All of the people reading the book and then being like, well, that's not me, but really showing you that she actually captured her town perfectly. And then on top of that, it's about a young woman finding her independence and also just sort of finding a way in a life that she wants. It is just a lovely, lovely book. Your heart will just be like, oh, and it's just great. If you are a fan of Jane Austen, Barbara Pym, any of those sort of books where they're set in a little town and you just get to know everybody and you turn out to just sort of feel like you're there. That's this book. And at the same time, it's about gossip, and it's about knowing your neighbors and knowing your neighbors too well. So that is D.E. Stevenson's Miss Buncle's books, and this is a Source Books Landmark edition. I actually found all of her books at my used bookstore and bought all of them that I could find. So I'm absolutely in love with it. So there you go. So that is, let me see if I can get a little stack going here before I... that is 6 books that I'm recommending to you just to get lost in, just to read something fun, to get your mind off everything that's going on. Sometimes you'll laugh, sometimes you'll cry, sometimes you'll be like, that's just what I needed. And I think all of these books are exactly like that. So as always, if you're a return subscriber, thank you so much. I could not do this without you. If you are new to my channel, I am so happy you're here. Please subscribe, come back for more. I like to talk about books. As always, I encourage you to read globally, shop locally, and until next time, I wish you happy reading. Bye!